Good morning, Vision. I think we can do better than that. Good morning, Vision. You know that name is catchy. You know the word says without a vision, my people would do what? So they let me know that Pastor Vanderberg rather, has done a great job with the leadership here. Giving honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Pastor Vanderbilt, First Lady, officers, members, and visiting friends. It's indeed an honor and a privilege to have this opportunity to stand before you this morning. As Pastor Vanderbilt stated, we met some 10 years ago at a community project. And we talked about the love that we had for Jesus. We talked about the love that we had for the community. Now he's the pastor of this church. And now I'm the mayor of this great city of Gastonia. And we're going to do some great things to make this city a better place to live, work, and play. Before I get started this morning, I want to acknowledge my beautiful bride that took the time out this morning to come with me. We've been married for 41 years. Doris Reed, would you please? Thank you. I mean, she is the person that keeps me going. She's that person that when I get so frustrated at times and discouraged, she had to hear the blunt of things that I can't say publicly. So I want to thank her for being there for me. To give you a little background on myself, and the subject today is Love Does, and that's a great subject, and it's a great book that you have. I encourage you to read it. Love does a multitude of things. But most of what I like about love is addressing the tough issues, diversity, inclusion, and equality. And I want to touch on those subjects this morning, but before I go there, I want to give you a little background on myself. I was born and raised here in Gastonia. My mom and dad had 9 kids. I'm number 8 out of 9, 7 boys and 2 girls. We were raised in the Howland community on the north side of town in a 4-room house. Now, when I say that, generally people try to correct me. You mean 4 bedrooms, right? I say, no, I said it right. It was 4 rooms. I'm amazed today how they did it. My mom was a stay-home mom. My dad worked, and we couldn't wait till someone either got married, got drafted, or even kidnapped to make more room in our home. I remember growing up poor. I mean, with 9 kids, you can only have so many things. And I remember for Christmas, we had to tell one thing we wanted. We may have got that, may not have got it. I remember wearing hand-me-down clothes till I actually got in middle school. So I was able to cut grass and do things to paperboard to generate money for myself. As I said, we didn't have a lot of things, but what mom and dad taught us was love. They taught us to love one another. They taught us to love others and to respect others. And that nobody was any better than us, regardless of what side of the tracks they grew up on. Those were good morals because we grew up in a very good home. We had something to eat. We had somewhere to sleep. And all of us turned out to be very successful individuals in life. I remember going to schools that were segregated. Now, this was what was crazy. We lived in one part of the street. The lower part was all African Americans. The top portion was mostly white families. We went to separate schools, but every day we played together. It was a creek that ran down behind our house, and we got together and played together in the creek, so we became friends. So when they integrated schools, it was no big deal to me. I already had friends. So we got together in school, and in school was a great thing for me because I was an athlete, and I played, I sing. And one of the best things that happened in this life is athletic and music when it comes to race relations. So I had a lot of friends. Growing up also, I had a desire to make a difference. I've never been the type to sit around and complain about what's going on, who's doing this, who's not doing this. I've always been the type to roll up my sleeves and try to make a difference. That's why I became a scout at a young age. Boy Scouting was probably one of the best initial things that I did in my life. The sad part about scouting, I was working on my Eagle when my scout troop disbanded. At the time, there was only one black Boy Scout troop, and I didn't have the opportunity to go to another troop to finish up. So that's one thing I regret in my life, that I never became an Eagle Scout. Then I had a desire to go off to college to play football. And in high school, fortunately, I was recruited by Grambling University, Clemson University, Winston-Salem State University. But I had a child in high school. And I had to make a decision upon graduating that I want to go off to school and leave the burden on my parents to raise my child, or did I need to man up and stay home and do what a father should do? What do you think I did? I stayed at home. I seek two positions. I didn't want a job. I wanted a career. So I applied at the State Highway Patrol, and I applied at the Gastonia Fire Department. And I said, whoever calls first, that's where I'm going. And fortunately, the Gastonia Fire Department called first. I served 9 years with the Gastonia Fire Department, 3 years as a firefighter, 6 years as a fire inspector, and had the opportunity to go to Mecklenburg County to be assistant fire marshal for 23 years. And the Lord blessed me to be able to retire at age 52 with 32 years of service. That's a blessing. With a pension and health insurance paid for life. That's a blessing. Give the Lord a hand clap for that. But while being a firefighter, I worked at Station 1, which was on 2nd Avenue beside the old public library. And my engine responded to back up all the other engines in the city. Now, keep in mind, I grew up on the north side of town, went to school on the north side of town. So when I became a fireman and we started responding to all these other areas in the city, I thought I was in a new city. I didn't know we had homes like this in the city. I didn't think that people were living like this. So, but I noticed the amenities. There were amenities on the other side of town that wasn't on my side of town. And I couldn't believe, I wondered why. So that's when the urge came about getting involved in the community. I remember I've heard ministers talk about the Lord laying something on their heart, a conviction on their heart to preach. I said, yeah, whatever. Well, in 1993, the Lord laid that conviction on my heart to get involved in the community. And I actually ran from it for 2 years. But I remember at night, a group of guys was together planning a community function. And the Lord laid on my heart so bad, he said, you've been running, but you're not going to run anymore. That night, I announced that I was running for city council because I wanted to make a difference in this city. We filed a run. We were told that there's no way you can be the incumbent the first time running. You don't have the name recognition. You don't have the experience. You don't have the machine behind you. I didn't know what the machine was at the time. But you know, I was obedient to God. I didn't listen to the naysayers. We ran a decent campaign, and we won the election the first time. We beat the incumbent by over 700 votes the first time running. I served on the Gastonia City Council from 1995 to 2011. I served 7 terms. I was the mayor pro tem 4 of the 7 terms that I served. I took a sabbatical in 2011 because during that time I had a full-time job in Mecklenburg County as a fire marshal. I was teaching at Gaston Community College as a fire service instructor, and I was on the council, and my battery died. So I took a 6-year sabbatical to reunite with my wife and my kids, my grandkids, and got my band back together from the 70s. Yes, I sing in a band called Image. We do 70s music. Some of you probably have seen us perform. If you haven't, you missed a treat. But it gave me time to de-stress and get my battery charged back up. But the conviction never left my heart to serve. So the Lord started pounding on my heart again. I have much more work for you to do. And I filed to run for mayor of the city. In 2017, against all odds, people telling me again, there's no way you're going to win. The man that's there, he's wealthy. He knows a lot of people. But who did I tell you I put my faith in? God made it happen. We won that election by almost 1,500 votes. And now I'm your mayor of this great city of Gastonia. But what I would like to see in this city, love does. I want to see the true taste of Gastonia. During my campaign, several people called, wanted to meet the mayor, wanted to see what I was about, and I noticed people from India reached out to me. It's a huge India population here in Gastonia. If you don't believe me, go to a restaurant. Go to a hotel. You know who owns most of the hotels in the city? People from India. Go to a dry cleaner. The Asian population reached out to me. We have a group of doctors from Nigeria that lives here in Gastonia. They reached out to me. So everybody was asking me questions, and I started asking them questions. I say, where do you all hang out? I never see you all at community functions. I said, first of all, where do you live? Oh, we live in the city. Where do your kids go to school? Oh, my kid goes to St. Michael's. My kid goes to Forestville. I said, okay. So what do you all do in the city? They said, we don't do anything in the city. I said, why not? We don't feel welcome here. How long have you been living here? Some said 10, some said 15, 20 years. I said, so where do you go for socializing? We go to Charlotte. I heard the same thing from the people from India. And I realized we have a problem in this city because I think it's up to all of us to make people that don't look like us, don't talk like us, don't dress like us, feel a part of this community. This is what love does, y'all. And I think we're missing the mark by continuing to isolate ourselves from others. I wanted to plan a multicultural event. I've been trying to do it for 2 years, and it's going to happen. It's a city and county ordeal that's going to take place in March of next year to try to bring all the different cultures together in one place, hopefully downtown, to show a true taste of Gastonia. I think it has to start with building relationships. That's what love does. That's what 41 years of marriage does. It's a job. I was talking to a young man before we came in here. He said, you've been married 14 years. I think he told me you've been married 17 years. He said, man, that's something special. I said, yes, 41 years of marriage. It's not a cakewalk. We'll always see eye to eye, and we never did agree, and sometimes it was tough. But we're still together. I think we're living at a time now where people are planning, they're taking more time to plan a wedding than they are to build a relationship. And it's showing. It despises me. I see people spend all this money for these big extravagant weddings. And within 2 years, you said one, I'm going to give them 2. They're separated or divorced. And I'm saying, why does this happen? Because I don't think they're taking the time to put in building a relationship. The wedding is the showpiece. Everybody come, they take pictures, they talk about how beautiful the bride is, how good the food was at the reception. But they leave that reception and leave you the bill. And that started a problem right there, the bill. Because after all that glamour, you still got to pay for that wedding. And I think that starts the stress in the relationship. Then you bring a child in the relationship. and that's more stress. Then you start having problems because you really didn't get to meet and build a relationship with yourselves. So as the mayor of this city, I want to see us diversified, number one. Number two, I want to see inclusion in this city. Everybody want to feel a part of something, to generate a sense of belonging. When I met Matt, I didn't know anything about Matt, and I'm not being disrespectful. We call each other by first names. But we hit it off to the point because he had a love of God in his heart. He saw it in me, and I loved him. And we have maintained a friendship and a relationship for this time. That's what it takes, y'all, to make a difference in this city. The next thing I want to put emphasis on is equality. Everybody didn't grow up the same way. Everybody didn't get the same breaks in life. So don't hold against people if they may not have what you have, or they may have more than what you have. I think it's about us coming together and working together to make our city a better place to live, work, and play. As I told you earlier, I was a fire marshal in Mecklenburg County for 23 years. I heard all the jokes about Gastonia and Gaston County. They had the audacity to ask me this question: how in the world can you live in Gastonia? Every night I turn the news on, something has happened in Gastonia. I said, well, apparently we're watching a different news source, because every time I turn my news on, something is happening in Charlotte-Mecklenburg. So how can you put down somebody when you have more problems in your area? But we don't have to be the subject of the negativity. I have trained my staff and my managers that you overcome negativity with positivity. I say we are doing too many positive things in this city, but we're not elaborating on the positive things that we're doing. We need to put it out there more. When you hear more positive, it overcomes the negative. And if those of you that's on social media, City of Gastonia website, if you follow me on Facebook, my personal page or the mayor's page, I'm constantly putting up things that we're doing in this city that's positive, because that's how you overcome negativity. And that's what we're trying to do in this city. That's what I want to do as the mayor of this city. We're a great city. A lot of great things are happening in the city. Getting our youth involved has been a main thing for me. I have a Mayor's Youth Leadership Council. I reach out to high school students in the 4 inner city high schools: Forest View, Ashbrook, Hunter Huss, and Howland School of Technology. They have 4 years to come in to the Mayor's Youth Leadership Council, learn about government, get involved in the community, and learn some new friends. And take them out of their comfort zone. They don't be able to hang with their little cliques at their school. They are just about made to get involved with other students. And I've seen the finished product that has made a tremendous difference in this city. Since being mayor, I've started a young adults of Gastonia, ages 18 to 40. If you want to be a part of making a difference in this city, I encourage you to put in an application to get involved. We're doing things in this city by getting them. First of all, they need to understand the difference in government. Let me tell you about my first week in office as mayor. My first week, I was elected in November, the first Tuesday in November. My term didn't really supposed to start to the first Tuesday in December. But due to something that's happening, I ended up being the mayor for a month before I was sworn in. First call I received, there was somebody getting ready to get out on parole for murder. The family called me and asked me would I come to the courthouse to convince the judge not to let this individual out. Now, keep in mind, I didn't know either party. So why did I need to get involved in this ordeal? Didn't have anything to do with the city. That's a Gaston County issue, Gaston County Courthouse, right? Second call I received from a young lady that DSS had taken her child. She wanted to have a hearing to appeal them taking her child. She wanted me to come to convince the social worker to give her a child back. Again, it didn't have anything to do with the city of Gastonia. It's a human resources issue, Gaston County. The third issue, a young lady called me, a parent called me, daughter had got in a fight at school. She had been suspended indefinitely. She wanted to have a hearing to get her kid back in school. She called me. wanted me to go with her to convince the school board to let her kid back in school. And then I started questioning God, which is not a good thing to do. Lord, what in the world have you got me into? But I had to understand that a lot of people need to be educated on the process. And the government process is that we do have 3 elected bodies of government that handle 3 totally different things. So that's what these groups of teenagers and young adults are learning about with the city of Gastonia. Again, a lot of great things are going on in the city. Some of you have submitted questions that you want to ask me. I don't want to cover too much because I don't want to cover your questions. I want to make sure that we get those answered. So at this time, if we want to address those questions, brother, let's do it.
Paul, let's give it up for Walker Reed. I got to start by saying, first of all, it is truly an honor. I really appreciate you and your wife coming out. Thank you so much for that. 41 years. Unbelievable. My wife's been bending her ear the whole time. How'd you do it for 41 years, Lord? That is awesome. That truly is. So, you mentioned some of the stuff you did, and I was amazed, actually. I was doing a little bit of internet stalking this week. I was.
You're not the first one.
I was checking you out. I was. And, I knew you served as a mayor, but then, I started seeing, honestly, you've been serving your community really all your life.
I have.
All your life.
And I'm proud of that.
Absolutely. You should be. And, you didn't even mention all the different, and I know it's because you're humble like that, but you didn't even mention all the committees, all the awards this man has won for the service he's been doing in and throughout our community. So, that to me, it really strikes got something wrong there. Technical difficulties. Here we go. That to me really strikes something in our heart because as visionaries, we say all the time, we are not a church. This building is not Vision Church. It's the people. It's the people here. And we want to get outside of these walls. So I know your feet are on the ground. You hear about it all the time. What can we do as individuals to help support and just get our community where we need to be?
Community projects is great. Like Hope for Gaston was a great thing, how we met up with Matt. But on the City of Gastonia's website, www.cityofgastonia.com, we have several citizens committees that you can apply for and be a part of. They're making decisions in the city. Stormwater committee, recreation advisory committee. I can go on and on. But they have say-so on what happens in the city. I never will forget when we had to vote on a storm drain fee because we had so much flooding during heavy rain. And the flooding occurred because people dumped illegal materials in creeks that caused them to back up to cause flooding. So this committee, that's a stormwater fee, make the decisions on how the money is spent. They choose what creeks. We hire outside firms to come in and clean these creeks up. So the people that was calling, complaining about it, those were the first people that I reached out to. We have this committee you can be a part of. You make some of the decisions of how the money is spent, that you paying these fees that you don't like paying, and we can keep these creeks cleaned out to avoid this flooding from occurring. And then, I don't want to be on no committee. Okay, so there are opportunities to citizens advisory committees and things that the city is doing promoting our city downtown as well.
Oh, man, that was awesome. So now as the position of being mayor, I truly respect that, but I got to say I don't envy you at all. I know there's some difficulties in that. What are some of your challenges?
The biggest challenge of being the mayor is trying to please everybody. I've learned, and I learned as a councilman, you can't please everybody. All I can do is try to give you the best service that I can give you, and sometimes that's not good enough. But that's the biggest challenge, is not being able to please everybody as bad as I want to.
Yeah. So now next question. This is kind of a selfish question, I guess. I've been working in the city of Gastonia for 25 years, been with UPS for a long time, and just from the business side of me, what's going on? I want the inside scoop. What's going on in Gastonia, Gaston County? I know we talk about some of the downtown, the Fuse. What all is going on? You got the inside word, man. Come on, give us the inside scoop.
Well, some of this stuff is not privy yet, so if I tell you all,
I'm trying to get a little bit out.
Y'all got to keep it in house, okay? I tell you, it's a lot of things happening in the city. As a matter of fact, we get a lot of complaints about the mall. And let me just make one thing clear: the city doesn't own the mall. Now, We don't own the mall. We get a lot of complaints. You all need to do something about the mall. I wish we could, but we don't own the property. But I have some good news for you. Once getting elected to mayor, one of the first things I did, I called the mall management team into City Hall, and we had a talk. I said, look at here. I keep hearing about the mall. I've been to the mall. The mall needs to step its game up. I said, now, you all have my picture in the mall now, so we're going to have to make some changes. So now we have some developers that's interested in investing in the mall. And let me tell you what they're thinking about doing. They're thinking about investing $100 million in our mall to develop. I'm talking about around the outside of the mall. We're waiting on a second chain store. Belts has committed. We're waiting on a second chain store to commit. We're talking about doing office space out in the parking lot, building offices, multifamily residential, and improve the access to getting in and out of the mall. The main entrance is going to be off of Franklin instead of New Hope Road. That's going to be a secondary entrance. And then we're talking about even a hotel building in the parking lot of the mall. So just give us a little time. We're working on it, okay? Rome wasn't built in a day, but we're working on it. Good question. Another thing we're doing, I want to mention those of you that are fee conscious. We just approved our budget. There were no fee increases, and we reduced our tax rate from 53 cents to 52 cents. So that's a good thing too at $100 tax revalue. Now you probably don't think that's much, but it adds up. We're better than increasing it, right? Okay. All right. Those of you that live on the southeast side of the city, Union New Hope Road, there's going to be a development there, Nolan Farms and the Village at Nolan. They're getting ready to build 411 single-family homes there. Should be opening in 2020. The water and sewer infrastructure for the city is going to cost over $30 million. We just built a new water treatment plant, a $60 million investment. And to those of you that don't know, if you're not from Gastonia, we are known for our textiles. Gaston County was known for textiles. But back in the late 80s, when we lost textiles, we sort of put our eggs all in one basket, and we sort of hit a hard spot there. But one thing I think, like what Gastonia did, we invested in infrastructure. We invested in Mountain Island Lake, which is the water source. And now we sell water to municipalities. We process sewer for municipalities. We have signed 20, 25-year contracts. I don't know if any municipality is going out of business, so we sort of focusing in a different direction, and it has benefited the investment. Fuse. Everybody's talking about Fuse, the old Sears property on West Gastonia. We're getting ready to invest $21.5 million. I believe in equality. We wanted to level the playing field. If you notice, most of the development going on in this city is on the east side or southeast part of the city. We are trying to move development west in this city, and I think the Fuse project is going to do it. It's going to be a multi-use sports complex. The Trenton Mill, which used to be Pledges, those of you who've been around here for a while, there's going to be apartments there, 85 units. It's going to be pads for development. The old Coca-Cola plant across from the old YMCA on Franklin, all that area is going to be redeveloped there. We're looking at breaking ground in September. We're looking at this project being complete by April 2021, if weather allows it to be. So it's a lot of great things. The I-85 widening is getting ready to take place. The funding has been done. Now, people complain about traffic. Now, during this process, there's going to be some inconvenience. But when the project is complete, it's going to be a great thing for Gastonia. And it's coming right through Gastonia. They're going to widen I-85 there. And we're looking at changing some of the overpasses. And it's going to be great. We're going to Washington, D.C. Next week. Lower and City of Gastonia. If y'all looked at the property on southbound 85 between Lower and Cox Road, where it looked like somebody dropped a bomb out there and all of the trees are gone, we're looking at developing that property, but we need a bridge to go over 85 at Sam's. So we're going to D.C. to try to get a grant, to get that grant approved, to get that bridge done so that we can access that property, and it's going to be a great project for the city of Lower and Gastonia. Now, I'm telling you all this. Shh. Okay. Thank you for that, giving me the opportunity to share.
Yeah, absolutely. We keep that in-house, right? Keep that in-house. Facebook Live, we'll have to delete some of that.
Oh, it's out there now.
Oh, thank you for that. Now, last question. I'm going to get you off the spotlight, but and a serious question that we have as a church. How can we be praying for you and your family? I know it's challenging, the things you go through, and I know it's tough being in the spotlight like your family is. How can we be praying for you and your family?
A very good question, and I really appreciate you asking. I got elected under some difficult circumstances. It's hard following someone else when you have to pretty much clean up something that's been done before you seek doing what you want to do. I had 2 years. My colleagues on the council served for a 4-year term. They made the mayor's term a 2-year term, and I had to fight to get it to 4 years. I'm up for re-election in November. It will be for a 4-year term. I would love to see the things that I have fought for so hard come to fruition, but I need another term to do that. So I ask that you all pray for my strength. I pray that I keep a clear mind to stay focused beyond the negativity. And I ask that you pray for my family. And I ask for your support in November that I have another term to serve this great city of Gastonia. I love this city. Love does. I love this city. I've been here all my life. I've made a tremendous commitment to this city. And I truly want to see it be the very best that it can possibly be. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Give it up, please. I got to tell you, just talking to Matt and just a little bit that I've got to know you, I see that in this man, that he does love this city. And it's been an honor for you to be here. So thank you so much for that. Now, I know something you appreciate. I didn't know if you knew this or not, but in our service here, we're a fairly young church, but most everything you see here is done by volunteers. Just everybody. We only have 2 staff members here. Pastor Matt, Pastor Mitch are the only 2 staff members. So one thing we do like to do, and I wanted to bring this up for the end, is we like to celebrate our volunteers here. They do a lot. They work very hard. And we definitely have a volunteer celebration coming up that I know you guys know about. As a matter of fact, why don't you just check out this video right quick.